Hi there, I'm John Glynn, and on this occasion today I'm going to look at this picture, colour photograph, but I wish to make the whole picture a little bit more dramatic, the sky, give it some richness in colour, and also impact this patio area in the foreground, which is a little bit washed out. So I'm going to start with the sky first, and what I'm going to do is select the sky. I'm going to use the quick selection brush and quickly just drag my mouse over the top of the picture. However, you can see that it has over selected because the selection brush looks for tonal differences between the foreground bit and the background, if you like, the sky and the actual balustrade here, and tonally they're very similar. So I need to force all of this selection back on itself. I'm going to zoom in a bit to help me do that. I can do that by holding down the control key and clicking the plus key on the keyboard, and I can got my Navigator palette open. Navigator palette is found under Window. If you open up the window, Navigator palette will be there, and I can drag this little red box around and quickly move it where I wish it to be. And I'll now wish to force this selection back on itself. To do that, I hold the Alt key down, and I now get a minus sign appearing in my selection brush, and I can push it back up. And if I do that all the way along, I can quickly deselect areas that I had previously selected, and if I go along the wall there, I can be a bit more accurate with my selection. If I want to add to the selection, I let go of the Alt key and move my brush back down a bit to reselect. Now I also want to possibly look at this area here, which might mean me getting a little bit closer. I can zoom in again actually on the Navigator brush if I wanted to, the tool here, and drag that little red box when I want to select that. Now as you zoom in, brushes become bigger in relationship to everything because you're zooming in, so I can actually make that smaller by using my square brackets and hold down the Alt key again. I want to select this car. I don't want to use my Alt key at all on this occasion. I actually want to add to the selection, not take away. So I've added to my selection, but I actually don't want to include these the flag, so or the whatever they happen to be for the pub. So I'm going to deselect. That's holding down my Alt key and drag up, and slowly but surely try and get the computer to see the edge of this flag post and the sky. And hopefully it can find the edge. Okay. Give it a chance. Let go of the Alt key if it's not selecting quite what I'm looking for. And very quickly, let's have a look. Want that bit selected. Move to the other post and do the same again. The trouble is the tonal range of the post here, the flag post, and the sky are very similar, so the computer has a job to tell the difference. With my selection, although it's having difficulty with that little bit there, that's more like it, and drag it up top. Like all this sort of work on your picture, the more time you have the better. Okay, done a very quick selection there, which could be tidied up. That needs to be tidied up again, just down there. Oh, keeps on jumping back on itself. There we are. And that could do with being pushed out slightly. And then a wall that could do with being added to. And that could do with being excluded from my selection. And let's go to the other end and pushing that up as well. It's a matter of working your way around. Depending on how accurate you need to be will depend on how long you spend fiddling with it. So we've got all of that along this wall. And we also have to look at the bush potentially as well. Now, we got the choice here of select and mask. So if we click on those choices, we get options on the right hand side. I'll drag them into the picture, and you can see that I need to maybe do some smart radius effects and just see what this is looking like. You can see that it's masking a lot of the tree out, which I will need to include in my selection. Otherwise I'm going to end up not changing the background colour on those bits, and everything else will change and it will look very, very strange indeed. So once we have a smooth, clean edge, and I can add to my selection by having on the left hand side here a brush, and there's a third brush down, adds to the selection, and I can paint it so that the selections will be added in. Computer's taking a little bit of time to catch up with what I'm doing. And the same in here, here. So it's a matter of working your way around those aggressively, just tidying up areas so that you can include them in any of your adjustments that you're going to make to your picture, which we're going to do in a little while now. Move the picture up and do the same again, just re-selecting parts of the picture so that you actually include them. I'm going to quickly do it because I'll be here all day otherwise, and make holes in the selection so that it will include it in any changes I make to the photograph, because I'm going to darken the sky in a second. And there are parts of the picture which will need to be darkened to make it look fairly natural. otherwise it's all going to look very patchy when you look at the picture with this plant. So that will do, give us an indication of what I mean. Okay, now I'm going to say OK to that selection, and you can see the marquee and the way it's selected various parts of the plant to include it in my changes, and other parts I'm not going to include in my changes. And now I'm going to change the density of the sky, and to do that I'm going to zoom out a bit so I can see it a bit more easily, and I'm going to go to my layer palette, and in the layer palette there's an adjustment layer which is a little black and white circle, and that may be in a different part of your layers palette. If the layer palette isn't open, then go up to window and you'll find layer in the window selection and give it a tick, and it will open up in the layers palette area. And if I click on the adjustment layer and go to levels, I can now darken the sky, and the sky will darken, but because I've only selected the sky, only the sky will darken. Okay. As to how much, it's up to me. I can move various aspects of my selection to darken it as much or as little as I wish, and to see it before, I just turn off the layer with the magic eye. To see it with the effect on, I click the eye on, off, on, off, on, and if I zoom in and go over the plant, you'll see the bits that I didn't actually select properly are a little bit paler, so it's something to be a bit more accurate. So that could take you a little bit of time to do that. You can actually go back and continue working on it even at this stage, but it's having time to do that. But tidying it all up around the edges makes all the difference, so being as accurate as possible does help. Admittedly, I am magnifying this at 70%, so maybe not something that most people would actually notice. So you've got your sky, and if I now zoom out, see the whole picture. So I'm fairly happy with the overall kind of density of my sky. I can now think about the whole picture and possibly improving the actual color saturation. So if I go back into my layers palette and layer adjustment palette, I now go to hue and saturation, switch that on. Here I have a saturation. I can saturate the whole picture. You'll see that the blue gets a bit bluer and the reds are getting a bit redder, and give it a stronger looking photograph. And if I turn these magic eyes off in my layers palette, you'll get a better indication as to what it will look like. So if I turn off the hue and saturation layer, you can see the difference, and if I turn it off and turn off the levels layer, you can see now the levels working on the sky. So overall, I think it looks a lot richer as a picture, and the sky is a lot stronger as a photograph. Okay, so I hope that helps you in controlling the various aspects of your photograph using the layers palette. Thank you for watching.